Hi everyone, it's Agent Juicy today, and I'm back again with one more video for you guys on the Blackberry clock. I'm going to compare it to the Blackberry Q10, so I'm just going to give you a general preview of the clock layout and how to set an alarm on all of my devices, clocks and stuff like that. And then I'll show you how beautiful it is on the Q10, obviously. So let's start off with the oldest phone that I do have here. It's a 9700, 9780, it's almost the same software. What you could see right here, this is the layout of the clock. You could put it digital, but I won't really recommend it. This is a lot more beautiful. And you basically, to enter bedtime mode, and then you could set a stopwatch, and all that interface is right there. And you could basically enter bedtime mode, which basically dulls the screen, and you could slowly see it fade out. And that's pretty much about it. You still could get phone calls and all that stuff right there. And if you want to set an alarm, all you have to do is basically, scroll up, scroll down, and then adjust day, time, and all that stuff. So let's look at the second oldest device here, and this is the Blackberry Playbook. And in the Playbook, what we could see here, this is a clock layout. You have the actual clock, then you have the alarm clock, then you have the stopwatch and the timer. From the OS screen, what you could do, it's quite simple, and I'll show it to you. You basically tap on the clock button right there, and you could simply adjust the clock, and that's pretty much about it. So I'll turn that off because I don't want to wake up at 6:45 tomorrow. Whatever, I'll do that after. So you can see the clock. Okay, so I don't know what just happened there. I guess it's stuck for a second. That never usually happens. So if you tap on the clock, what do you do have here? It's the ability to adjust the clock or the alarm, and then you can scroll up, almost identical to OS 6. And then you could set the dates a little more. You could actually put specific dates and stuff like that. It's not too fancy, couple of ringtones, not a lot of settings you could actually do in there. And let's look at Android's, because Android has usually a good interface. So on the home screen, that's the clock right there that I have on the home screen that I'm using. And if I were to go to the clock application, it looks like this interface right here. And it's pretty nice, you have the timer, then you have, I believe this is the actual clock, and then you have stopwatch. I actually like the stopwatch, it's not too bad, that big circle that actually shows you the actual stopwatch. Reminds you of an actual stopwatch that you may have in the palm of your hand. So let's go back to the clock, and then you have basically the geotag feature to turn on the GPS, and then you have some more settings here, such as night mode, which basically adjusts the clock, and it looks like that, and just slowly dims in, dims out of the actual screen. And then you have the actual alarm, and this is the interface for the alarm. To set an alarm, you just hit the plus button, then you punch in whether or not you wanted it 2400 or 12 a.m. format if you want. But I usually use 2400 because it's a lot easier if you're using the bus. To get the bus, you always have to do that. So that's a little life tip for you guys in case that if you uses the bus for transportation. So you just put in like 14:29, let's say, so that's at 2:26 p.m. and you have the ability to set multiple here, right? That's something that you can't do on OS 6 unless you put like task, and you can't really do that with the Blackberry Playbook. The interface to set multiple alarms. I'm not too sure about iOS, but maybe someone will tell me. So in the Blackberry Q10 though, what you do have here, it's the clock, which is basically found on the second or third page, if I remember correctly. Can't seem to find it now. I have the app open. So let's just dive right into the app, because it's really weird not look. Oh, there it is on the second page right here. So you tap on the clock, it usually pops right up. And what you do have here, I'll start off from the initial. This is the actual interface of the clock. You could adjust this and stuff like that, but I won't really recommend you guys do that. So if you pull down from the top, what we do have here is help, bedside mode, and then some more clock settings. In the bedtime mode, you just basically get this really nice dark interface right here. I'll turn on the lights for this one as well, so you guys do appreciate it. So this is how it looks in the nighttime for bedtime mode, and then you could put notifications on or off by just simply double tapping and stuff like that. One more thing though, you could just exit bedtime mode by simply pulling from the top and then exiting it. But this is the interface. I really like this interface. Remind me of my watch that I had when I was 9 years old. So then if you go to clock settings, what you do have here, it's like, how do you want to display the clock settings, analog or digital? Not really a fan of the digital. It looks a bit, you know, it doesn't look as nice as that clock though. I really like the analog clock, and I don't usually like analog clocks for a reason, because you always have to try to figure out the time. So if you look here, what you could see is the phone call in the bedside mode. This feature lacks basically across all of the devices that you've just seen. Basically, if you get a phone call, you could either receive the phone call. If you have this setting on, you will hear the phone ring when it's in bedtime mode. So basically, if that's on and you get an emergency call, you're going to hear the phone call. So that's really good. So that's definitely a plus. Then you have date and time settings. Date and time settings actually pushes you to the settings of the clock, and then you have the time zone, and then you could set the time and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it for the settings. However, what I wanted to show you guys, it's if you want to set an alarm. So let's say this is the alarm option right here, and when you hit the alarm button, it turns on. How do you set the alarm though? You could either tap right there, and you could physically scroll and do all that stuff, and you could set the alarm tone and then the snooze time if you want, or you could just do what I do, and that's your finger. Maybe I should turn on a light for you guys. So just with your finger and simply do that. So when you're in the AM time, anytime you're setting an alarm in the AM, it's always going to look red, like, you know, if you ever looked at the sunrise, it usually is red. But if you look at the PM time, it's usually blue, like the night sky. So that's how I remember it. But I really like setting this alarm, and it's usually pretty accurate as well. One thing to do note, it goes by 5 minutes, so you can never really get 4:01 a.m. you know, if you want to get that extra minute of sleep. So that's pretty much it for the alarm. I really like that interface. So let's go to the next one, which is basically the world time. Basically, if you travel a lot like me and you're always going to the US and Texas, basically what happens is you have to switch time zones, and I missed like a couple flights because, you know, inexperience, you never really know what the time zone is, but this automatically converts it for you. So basically, you can see right now in Houston, Texas, it's 8:54 p.m. Right now in Canada, in Ottawa, it's 9:54. So you could basically quickly do the translations and stuff like that, and you could add, like, let's say, okay, so let's go for Saudi. So you could see basically, one of my friends is from Riyadh, so let's go for Riyadh. So there you go, you see it's 4:54 and it's 5:55, so it's basically 1 hour difference between Abu Dhabi and Riyadh right there. And let's add another one, like, I have no idea. Let's go for Manila in the Philippines. So there you go, you see. Now it's 9:55 a.m. So that's just a quick, so they're already ahead of us by 12 hours. So, and then right next to that, you could simply edit by deleting whichever ones you may or may not want. So in the next category, what we have here is the timer, and you can basically start the timer and then hit the lap time if you want, and swipe over, and you could get all the lap times and stuff like that. So I could hit it multiple times, and you can see right here you get a lot of lap times. Pretty sure someone's gonna say, oh my god, the lap time is really laggy, but it isn't. So you could hit the lap times again, and you can see even more lap times show up, and then you could stop that. And then we move on to the timer itself. So I'll hit a timer for 21 seconds. The timer is really beautiful though. What you could do is the same thing with the clock, the same interface it has with the clock. I'll just let the timer go so you guys can hear the actual audio of the timer. It's really beautiful. I hope you guys could see all the digits. The little micro integrations, each one is a minute basically. So that's the timer itself, and it just goes off like that, and then that's it. That's a timer right there. It doesn't repeat itself at all. So that's a timer, and like I said, it has a really beautiful basically way, and each timer is set for a minute, so you can't really do 30 seconds though, which is a slight suckiness, you might say. So let's move back on. I set an alarm for 10:02. Oh, there it is, just on time. So there we go. This is the actual alarm. And like I showed you in the Z10, it's really beautiful. So I'll just shut up for a second. And then you have the ability right here to dismiss or snooze, so I just snooze it right there. But it's a really nice alarm. I love waking up to it on the morning. I actually use this as my alarm, you know, to replace all my other devices and stuff like that, because it's really beautiful. One thing I would say, the downside to this, it's the alarm feature. You only have the ability to set one alarm. You can't set multiple alarms, and that stems from this feature. That stems from this feature. It went on from this device, and now it's here. But with 10.2, you know, they said it's going to be rectified, so that everyone has the ability, like with Android, to set multiple alarms, and I'll show you. Damn it. So basically you have like multiple alarms you could set right here, which is a really beautiful feature. However, I'd love to do that with this. This is Agent UC. Like always, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and as always, see you later.